Hello. Let's see what's going on. Let me check to make sure there's nothing here that gives away my information. I don't see it, so um, I don't watch a lot of movies. I watch a lot of YouTube stuff. Um, I wonder if any of you are having trouble with Amazon Prime. I've been paying for Amazon Prime. I pay monthly. I should do it yearly, but I'm always afraid that when that yearly thing popped up, you know, it would hurt big time. But anyway, I've been, a Prime member for forever, for a long time, and I just was moving around someplace doing something, and I saw that the slums of Beverly Hills. Oh, I can show that to you, I think, here. I just love this movie. And I didn't know that it was on, because I keep an eye out for it. So I thought, great, because I just watched also, which very few of you would like, oh, I can't remember the name of it now. I watched that about the Vatican and a prisoner of the USSR is a bishop, and he is released, and then he becomes, let's see, okay, I can't remember the name. Anyway, so I watched that today, and there's one little part in that video that just gets to me, and you'd think I'm weird or whatever, but and so I watched from the beginning and everything, and then I watched that part that's a small, very small part that I liked, and then I didn't watch it. I didn't watch the anymore, and so I watched that today, and then I just saw the slums of Beverly Hills. Oh, wow! I'm gonna watch two things in one day that I really like, and now I go there and it wants me, it wants me to sign up to be a Prime member or whatever. I just went there and it shows me as a Prime member and shows, it shows when I go to the account thing or whatever, like I want to sign up or something like that. It shows that I pay, hang on, I think Darlene's calling, I think. I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. I thought maybe it was Darlene calling me or whatever, but Darlene just got a phone call from Hillary, and I told you in a previous video, if you watched, that Hillary hit a deer a few days ago and killed it, and she was up just devastated because she's a big animal lover of all kinds. Anyway, she hit the deer. So I just went in and to check to see if Darlene was calling me or something and needed something, because I was just in there and got her a Eskimo pie out of the freezer and something else. But anyway, Hillary's talking again about the deer, if she'd have just done this or if she'd have just done that, I don't know if I ever mentioned, this or not, so I'll mention it real quick and won't go into a lot of details. But Darlene and I Hillary and I went a few times to the casino, but Hillary went a lot to the casino, which is right over in Oklahoma. Maybe a 45-minute drive from here. And I went a few times with Hillary, and she loved the casino, and she doesn't love the casino anymore because the virus thing is a thing that turned her off, and me too, to going, because then I thought about, yeah, god damn, everybody is right next to each other, and everybody, I'm sure they've changed things, probably an empty space now next to you or something, but yeah, and the machines now that they use, people put their hands all over the screen, the thing, it's, so I gave, and Hillary says too, that that's no more casino for her, but anyway, she went so often that the casino gave her when they give you a special parking spot, that means you're going too often. They do that. They have different things that they do and she got rooms given to her, and all kinds, and they have a really, really nice eating place. Well, they have a bunch of nice eating places. They have at the casino a really nice place, and she got 2 tickets for a free, all you can eat thing or whatever. And so she asked if I wanted to go with her in the past, and I said, yeah, I'll go with you. My problem is with all you can eat, which I love that type of a situation, is I can't eat a lot at once. But, so I eat more than I should, and then that's it. I can't eat anymore. I've never been to an all-you-could-eat thing, and that a lot of them have, all you can eat, and then of course there's also, fruits and cakes and pies and all that, and I never can get to the dessert. I've never gotten to the dessert because I'm always filled up. And anyway, I got sidetracked. Oh, okay. So Hillary went to that casino in Oklahoma. So many times, like there's next to the casino is, some property, which I'm sure is part of the casino also. I mean, it's not part of but it's that the Indians, it's an Indian reservation type thing. I mean, when you're driving down a highway, when you pull off and when you go to these places, right across the highway is which I would have loved to go to, but I'm sure you have to have an Oklahoma probably ID, but it's marijuana, it's a trailer, type thing, but marijuana, and you can go in there and buy it, but I'm sure they're not going to let people from Texas, drive over or whatever. So, but anyway, I thought I'd like to go there. But anyway, so also right by the casino, there's a filling station, there's a 7-Eleven or a Quick Trip or one of those type of things, and there's a few other things there. Anyway, Haley was going to the casino so much that at the little convenience store they had there, young lady or whatever that worked there, knew Hillary, and they had talked about animals and stuff. So that young lady who worked there called Hillary. Hillary was at home, called Hillary and said, there are kittens out in the parking lot here. And so Hillary said, I'll be right over to rescue them or whatever. So she drove over. It was there in the daytime. That, I think, matters. Maybe it shouldn't matter, but it mattered. And Hillary had her coffee thing with her. She gave me I don't see it sitting here, one of those aluminum things. What is it? Can't remember the name of it now. To keep things cold or hot. So Hillary was out there with a flash. Well, no, she wouldn't have needed a flashlight. It was daytime. Looking out there for the kittens, and the security for the casino officer comes over and pulls in there where she is. Now she's on the 7-Eleven or the Quick Trip or whatever it is property, and he asks Hillary, what she's doing, and she tells him, that she's rescuing kittens or whatever, and tells her, come with me or whatever, and she goes over there or whatever, and Then apparently he calls the I guess they'd call it the sheriff's department, but it's because it's Indian property, American Indian property, and so now maybe those guys actually patrolling, maybe they are also, I saw when I was out there, I'd seen their cars going by and stuff all the time, through the parking lot. I just figured they were, casino security, and that's what maybe, but anyway, so a female I guess it's a reservation. I'm not sure if it'd be because they don't have county. It's an Indian reservation. It's like another nation or whatever. It's the way it works here, but not the same. It varies from state to state because of the times that things happened. And but anyway, so it's reservation police, and they arrest Hillary. I'm not sure what they arrested her for. Trespassing. I think that was it. Trespassing. And so she's driven to their reservation police department, and I'm not sure. I think it's like 9 or 10 p.m. or something. Maybe it's earlier than that, because it wasn't dark when she was. Anyway, she's taken to the reservation, and I hope that Hillary wasn't logged in, because she makes her living. I mean, she's been doing it. And I mentioned once before, like when she was in Sweden, she worked for the same company in Sweden that she works for now. When she was in Sweden 1 year, she was responsible. People who called her and talked to her spent $1 million, not one of them, but all of them together for that company. And she's done really, really well here, but sometimes it slacks off. But she's doing, so anyway, they took her cell phone. Now, I'm not sure if she told them if she had her cell phone turned on, because that happened to her in the past. Anyway, she's taken to the reservation thing and told that she's under arrest. And she says, okay, well, can I pay bail? No, you can't. And then also, Hillary was to come the next morning and take me for my yearly visit to the heart doctor. She insisted she wanted to take me rather than have me, get there myself. I mean, I would have taken a Uber or something like that, and she wanted to take me. So she's telling them, well, can I call my dad and tell him, that right now I'm here, and, I'll be able to pick him up in the morning, or whatever. And the female, no, you can't. Handcuffs her, chains her to a chair. Now, Hillary wasn't fighting or anything like that. And then Hillary, also says, well, I was scratched, or I was bitten by a cat, and it got infected or whatever, and I had to go to, she went to an emergency center, not a hospital emergency, one of those other places that you pay a lot of money, but it's also cheaper than going to the emergency room or whatever. And she had a Band-Aid, and she said, it's hurting, and there was a Band-Aid on it, and the female Indian, took the bandage off and was, with her bare hand was poking the thing. And then, anyway, then Hillary saying, I guess time is going by, And Hillary says, can I call my father, let him know, what's going on, because I need to take him in the morning to the doctor's office appointment. And the reservation, I think she was a sergeant, but I'm not sure about that. It seems to me like she was a sergeant, that Hillary told me, said, no, you can't call. And Hillary said, but I'm entitled. Of course, Hillary didn't realize she was on an Indian, well, I think she realized she was on, but she didn't know you know, says, I'm entitled to call, make a phone call. I'm entitled to make one phone call. And the female officer said something to the effect of, well, you're entitled to make a call when we book you in. And I think it might have been like 10 or 11 o'clock at night. I'm not going to book you in till 8 a.m. in the morning. Then you can make your phone call. Now that is bullshit. I worked hospital security for 30 years. I was a reserve police officer every day. I patrolled every day for I think 7 or 8 years. I'm not sure exactly on how. Every day I never missed a night. And for the first quite a few years, I was the only officer on duty. All they had were reserve officers in this small. Anyway, I went to the police. I didn't have to go to the police academy because I was grandfathered in. And then when the state of Missouri passed a thing saying that you had to go to the police academy, I was already grandfathered in. But when the police department said, do you want to go to the regional police academy where the Kansas City, Missouri police officers go for their reserve officers, and other departments send their, and I said, yes, I'll go. So I spent 3 months, because I think it was 3 months, 3 nights a week or something. But, I never heard of, that never occurred to me that a police officer would do something like that. Of course, the only experience I have is online, reading about reservation, that type of a situation, and the history of it and all that kind of stuff. And so by the time, so anyway, Hillary said, well, when does the judge gets here at 8 in the morning or something like that. And then Hillary says, can I, they left her, chained up in the, I don't think they ever put her in a cell. So anyway, they told her, no, you can't use a credit card. You have to pay cash or whatever to post bond, to, of course, Hillary wasn't, I guess you'd call it bond. Hillary's going to plead guilty, and just, I'll plead guilty, you take the money, or whatever. But, so she asked, well, can I use a credit card to pay? The sergeant said, no, you can't. So Hillary was, God damn, how am I gonna do this? How am I gonna, anyway, when the judge showed up, she said, can I pay with a credit card? Sure, you can pay with a credit card. So she paid whatever the fine was. When she wasn't paying bond, she was just, I'm pleading guilty, how much do I have to pay? And so, they took her money, and then there's the door. And she says, can I call a cab? And, or no. Can I use your phone? No. So she walks out, she goes out, too late to take me to the doctor's office, of course. Of course, I don't know, when Hillary didn't show up, I just called the doctor's office, said, I'm sorry, I'm rescheduling, I'll reschedule. That was no big deal. So then Hillary starts walking. And while she's walking, she's occasionally passed by, because it probably, I think the casino, I think those people probably patrolling out there were, reservation police officers. And so they were going back and forth, doing, probably doing stuff, going off duty, coming on duty, whatever. And she was passed, and she walked for hours. She walked for hours, and I'm guessing probably they were the only people on the road, She walked for hours, and they drove by her, none of them stopped and said, "Do you need a lift down the, you know?" And then finally she got, you know, got back to her car, and oh, her cell phone was broken, and that wasn't broken, you know, and I saw the cell phone, and it was delivered, you know, it wasn't, it was delivered, somebody took, you know, a hammer to it or something, and she doesn't have cheap, you know, this is a cell phone that she got for me, Samsung Galaxy Note 9, and she paid actually $1,400 for this. The Samsung Galaxy Note 10, which by the way she gave me, and it broke, so I gave it back to her, and I told her, and she, you know, the screen broke or something. Anyway, I gave it back to her, and she was going to have it fixed and whatever, and I said, no, don't bother, get it back, you know, get it back from me. I don't even need a Note 9, you know. Anyway, by the way, the Note 10 was $200 less than, you know, this one. But anyway, she see, where was I on my story? It's only been 21 minutes. Anyway, so they deliberately broke her cell phone because they didn't, you know. Now, Hillary was not drunk. Hillary has been known to drink, and she's been known to be rambunctious. I mean, she's kind and gentle and easygoing. She would never hurt anybody. She would never steal from anybody or anything like that. But she's been known to drive and drink, you know. And but in this case, that was none of that, you know. And I'm a liberal Democrat, so when it comes to blacks and Hispanic and Indians, you know, I'm in their favor. And American Indians, the things that happened to them, the unbelievably horrible things, the way they were treated, I'm very sympathetic to them. But I've also seen stories, not just the story from Hillary, but I've seen stories of the unbelievable, on the reservations, the reservation police or whatever they are. I've heard, you know, all kinds of stories about, you know, things that should not be happening, but it's the reservation. Now, like I said before, the law varies depending on the reservation, the type of Indian, because they, like, deals were made, you know, contracts were made over time. You know, they didn't establish all of the reservations at one time. They got established over, you know, over time. And so I don't know what the situation is, but I do know it varies because I read something on it sometime because I was interested in it, that, you know, in some Indian reservations, if a felony happens, you know, that reservation takes care of that, just like they would a misdemeanor. On some Indian reservations, because of the contract or treaty, it'd be the treaty between the United States and that reservation, on some reservations, if it's a felony, then it, even though it was on the Indian reservation, they have to take it to, you know, a court, a federal, United States federal court, for, you know, the thing off of the reservation. There's all types of things like that. But I don't know. Something should be done about whichever tribe that was and whichever, I don't know how many, you know, there should be, what happened to Hillary shouldn't happen to somebody. And so, I guess if you're in another country, by the way, and you don't want to come here, and well, probably with all the shootings and things going on here, if you're smart, you probably don't want to come to the United States. But if for some reason you were deciding to come here, and then you decide to, go onto a reservation and buy some, stuff that's made, blankets or whatever, that are probably they're made in China, and but you might want to think twice about it, unless you can maybe look up if you're coming for some special reason, and you want to go to a certain reservation or whatever. Maybe there's places that you can look up the information and find out whether you're going to be treated. I saw a YouTube video, by the way, and I don't know what reservation it was, but the way the video starts out is it looks like a small town, a really small town, and it's an Indian reservation, but the town is not, it's not, the police there are not Indian reservation police. That's not an Indian, that's a regular sheriff's department or something like that that's there. So the way this video starts out is you see the video, I guess it already started or something. A lady, an old lady, whatever, is driving her car on the highway. So it's off, it's on the roadway. And I guess the roadway also is. And that's not Indian reservation. I guess if it probably goes down to some place and then it goes out, then it becomes, but this is a town, a little town there. And so anyway, this lady's coming down, and she's, I think no state tags on her vehicle, no, none of whatever you're supposed to have, she doesn't have it. And the police try to stop her, and she keeps going, and then she comes to a really cheap looking, well, kind of like the ones we have here on the West Fort Worth, a little tiny strip mall. And then she gets there, and then she pulls in. Then she stops. And there was 2 police officers in, a kind of unusual, in the car that stop her, and they get out. And then she is yelling at them, "You have no jurisdiction over me. I'm in this parking lot here. I'm in this parking lot. And you have no," and they said, "Yes, you do. You were on the street, and then a guy comes out, appears to be an Indian, and he is an Indian. He comes out, and he owns that mall, I guess, and maybe he has an office there or something too. Maybe he owns some other malls or stuff around. Apparently, any property that the Indians own, and that little mall, which didn't have doodly shit, so he comes out, and he's like, "You goddamn son," he's talking to 2 police officers, city police officers, but I don't think they have any jurisdiction on his property at all. That's the rule, I think. And he's telling them, "Get off of the property, you have no business stopping." And they're saying, "Well, no, we could give her a ticket." "No, you can't. I've talked to you people before. I've talked to the chief of police or whatever. Get off the property, you goddamn sons of bitch." I mean, he is yelling, and they get in their car and leave. I don't know how bad those guys need a job. Maybe they live in that small town. I don't know. I wouldn't put up with, I wouldn't put up, I wouldn't work there. I wouldn't deal with that kind of a situation. Let somebody else deal with that kind of a situation. It's not worth the it's not worth the aggravation or whatever. So maybe that reservation too, something needs to be done about that. That's crazy. That's just crazy. You have a town there that is a town, a United States of America town, but apparently is pretty much surrounded by an Indian reservation. And if the Indians own some piece of property there, if they're renting a donut shop, I don't know what the Indian would be having. If they have a donut shop there, because of that, it becomes under the jurisdiction of the reservation. Man, I wouldn't put up with that kind of stuff. So I kind of got sidetracked, didn't I could tell you, but I'm not going to. Hillary is really a sweet person, but she never committed, well, I guess she has committed a crime being drinking or whatever, and driving. But I'm not going to go in that. She had a run-in with another, had nothing to do with the Indians. I'll skip that. Where she was, she was wrong, but on the other hand, a female police officer and a female sergeant, by the way, situation. But I'm not going to go into it now. But Hillary is sort of the same thing. But then Hillary was wrong in the beginning situation. But yeah, could I give it to you real quick? No, I couldn't. You know me. I'd stretch it out. It's an interesting story, I think. But it just goes to show you. Oh, did I ask you? They automatically take out $14.99, Amazon Prime does, for that. And I guess let me try to refresh it. Because, they take it out automatically. They've been doing it for years. Okay. Same thing showing. July 10th. It's not July 10th yet. But anyway, I don't have to update it because it's the same. Update, cancel, And I went there a while ago, and it shows the credit, my bank card. So, are any of you, okay, I'm going to go over here and go down to Prime Video. I'm going to click on this again for Prime Video. I'm going to put in, what did I say? God damn it. The slums of Beverly Hills. There it is, okay. Okay, I think it's still that way because it doesn't normally, it would go to Prime thing. Here we have this, it's Prime Video. I click on it and it, yeah, it's so. Are any of you having trouble with Amazon Prime? Anyway, let me know. I think they got some kind of a problem with their system. And I just love the slums of Beverly Hills. Anyway, damn, I thought I was going to get to see I'm not going to pay, it might only be $5 or something, I don't know what it is, but I'm not going to do that. I pay for Prime Video. Go to, by the way, I don't know if you can hear, because one of the, I don't want to call him fan, he may not be a fan, he might not think of himself as a fan, but somebody who comments on videos and stuff. And I remember before he said something about music in the background, and I thought, because once I make a video, I forget that video because it's kind of a problem. I have to be careful. Once I make a video, 5 minutes, 15 minutes, and 2 hours or whatever, then I need to put in some key words and that kind of stuff. And I can't remember what in the hell I talked about. I'm not interested, and I don't want to go back and listen to myself. God forbid, I don't want to do that. But I remember this gentleman left a thing in the past about music in the background, and I did look that up. I went And I thought, well, I can barely hear something in the back, but barely hear it. And then he left just earlier. I made a video and he left a thing saying the annoying, what was it, disco music or something in the background. And I commented right away, what disco music in the background, you know? And anyway, I answered on several things, and he talked about my camera, you know, that he liked the laser one better than he does the one I'm using, but they're both good. This is the Avery Media, and they're both good, but they are different. And I mentioned that a person had commented about, and very incisively, or pointed out the differences between the two cameras. And, you know, agrees that they're both good, but there's a slight difference, and I do like this one right now. I see a little bit of this light over here. Let me take care of that. I'm just using this one lamp, and I moved my big umbrella antenna further away because it just seemed like it was too bright. Of course, I put a gigantic, more powerful bulb in there. So anyway, this guy mentioned disco music this time, the guy, and I went and clicked on it, and I didn't hear any disco music, and I thought, what's going on? And now I have hearing loss, and I have other hearing problems too, and I'm not too smart, you know. But anyway, I cranked it up. I turned my volume up, and then I could barely hear it when I turned it up, the volume up. I could barely, yeah, disco music coming from my son's room next door. And this guy, so I didn't answer him back, I don't think, on that, or that point. I didn't answer him back on that point. I thought I was going to say, you must have really good hearing, because I could barely hear it. And then I got to thinking, you know, all the junk I have around here, for the most part, the speakers that I have are 5-watt speakers. And I have a nice, they're from Creative, whatever that company is that makes a whole bunch of products. And I have this set. Oh, I'm going to have to tell you this. Let's see if I have it laying here. I clip the cables on, I know, at least 2 sets of speakers, because I put the wiring together, I run it up the legs of the thing, and I tie these things off. I don't want cables hanging down on the floor. I don't even want to see them, like, kind of hanging down behind the thing or whatever. And the 2 sets that I did were and improved. I mean, they were improved over what I'm using now. And they had, you know, like the third, you know, right and left speaker, and a thing that goes on the floor that's a woofer or something or other, and then there was another one that was the same, something like that. And when I'm trying to I got the cable ties pulled tight on these things, and I cut the cables on those, so they're up on the shelf. But you know, what I was thinking, this will be a question to you too also. Like, these are 5-watt speakers. They're working pretty good they're working good for me. But I did look the other day and thought, you know, maybe I should go with a little more expensive speakers. And I went and looked like they're, and I think they were Creative also. And there wasn't any, I don't think there was any third, you know, speaker on the floor or anything like that. But I noticed that they were 15-watt speakers, so that's 3 times more wattage than what I have. And they had some other speakers thrown into these little, you know, I don't know, woofer or what, that kind of stuff. So I don't have $95 right now, but what do you think? Should I go ahead when I can afford it and get those speakers that are, you know, 15 watts instead of 5 watts? They'd go in the same position because I don't think there's anything to go on the floor. And remember, you know, I need new hear. I mean, I need new, you know, ears or whatever that. But what do you think? And maybe, yeah, I've had that. Several people have been really good about, especially when I was buying the Dell, and also when I was buying some, and a guy also helped me big time. I think it's the same guy, maybe. I was having trouble, and he said that I needed to order in some special cables. They're a little more expensive, you know, not HDMI, but the other. And he said I needed it, and I got those, and boom, took care of everything. So that was, and then also when I was buying, okay, I haven't set this one up yet, but I did set another one, you know, the SSD, you know, thing. He had recommendations which also came in, you know, and so that helps out. So if you happen to go and look for speakers that aren't too expensive, I am a poor man. I'm living on Social Security, and that's it. Well, I get $175 for working 12 years at a hospital. Now, of course, those hospitals, I worked at a bunch of different hospitals. You're going to think less of me, and you should. At 2 of those hospitals, I paid in, and the hospital paid in kind of extra to go into, you know, retirement. And when I quit both of those jobs, I went and cashed in, you know, the plan and spent that money for computer equipment. And now I'm hungry. I'm starving. We have no food. No, we had plenty of food, believe me. I just finished off the last 4 small Hershey bowl. I did it. We're both, my ex-wife and myself are both, you know, type 2 diabetic. Guess what we've been eating a lot of, and not just Hershey's chocolate, the ice cream and everything else. Not smart. Anyway, if you have a recommendation on speakers that are not, you know, maybe a little bit more than $95. Maybe if there's some that are $125. But I don't need actually the thing going on the floor with high range and low range, because I don't hear any. I don't hear any high ranges. Anyway, thank you very much for watching.